All right, good morning. Today is Monday, March 21st, 2022. Didn't record last week. It was spring break. Took that day off, that week off. So now I'm back to recording my session here, trade session, market read. I am on NQ this morning, the NASDAQ. So let's see what we get going here. Checking on the 30 tick. We just had a nice down run. Let's see, we did have an LRE winner there. I was not on yet. Let's see here. 73. Yep. Yeah, we had a nice little LRE winner back here. Had some, not really HD. Pulled back a little higher, but it was, now we've had a nice down run. Let me make sure my flux levels and magnets are all loaded in correctly. Refreshed. Let's see. All right, we got them all refreshed. So now we do have a simplicity long right now, but we just had a nice down run. So I would want this to come up more before I considered a long run or, taking an LRE long. See, here's came down. Here we've got both angled up. Nope, both angled up. Here we got an LRE long here. As you can see on the 10 tick, if you look at the 10 tick, it did not run up. Let's see. It didn't run up very much, and then we have the wall there. There's a lot going on. I'd want it to prove to me that it is going to continue running long first before. That's part of what I do with my LREs and why they work. Because I definitely want to make sure we're in a long, an actual trend first. So now we have a simplicity short again. Let's see if it breaks this bottom. One second, I gotta move something on my other screen real quick. Okay. So now, you can see clearly we have a bottom that's formed here, right? Clear bottom, hit 3 times. Right here at 37%, 1, 2, and then we got a third one here. Where it just hit again. Gave an early entry simplicity short and a regular simplicity short. See if it breaks down or if it stalls. See, early entry both angling down, broke the low. Then right here, it flipped, both angling down, broke the low down here too. But as you can see, we've kind of stalled this 2 big bars too. So I wouldn't get in on a simplicity trade. If I was going to take a simplicity trade, I wouldn't get in on these bars. These are big. Very likely it could retrace or it could stay in a range. We don't know. But I'd want it to break out short, below here, below. Let's see, there's nothing on the 30 tick that's telling me it won't stop there. Okay, yeah, so if it broke out below this, would be nice. Before I'd consider an LRE. Like right now, if this pulls up to the solid line, I'm not taking that. Hasn't gone in a long enough trend for me. Now we're breaking out. It's trying to. Let's see, we have that mini magnet in dev as a target if it can break. You see, it didn't really, it barely broke. But I like for it to really break. I like for it to prove to me, hey, we're going to continue down before I hop in something. Because, with these markets, it could very well turn into a range very easily. We like, for LREs, we like trends. No ranges, trends. And, like I said, we just had that big long run down, so it's likely to maybe range a little bit, maybe chop a little bit before it makes another move somewhere. So now I just have to sit here and wait. At least with NQ, it does move more. Last couple weeks I was on YM. YM this morning was just completely stagnant. It was just dead. So I switched over to NQ. Because NQ right now is at a good speed. Um, just laid a ZOI on the 30 tick. And you can see how even on the simplicity chart, it's a bit of a range here. We got a clear bottom here. We have a top, as you can see from the eye zones. You got a red and a green, kind of forming this little range that we're in. So right now I'm just waiting for a breakout, top or bottom. That's really all I'm doing. All I do for my LRE is just, wait for a breakout, or if it's already in a nice trend, then on my pullbacks, I want either HD or ODD, whichever one, works for that situation, or a nice level. For example, if it broke this wall in flux right here and went up, 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 up in a simplicity run and pulled back and gave an LRE off of it, I would like that. That'd be nice. That's the type of, if it's in a trend, I kind of, look for. So, and see, this is why you wouldn't have wanted to take this entry as a simplicity entry. Like I said, now if you took this one here, the early entry at 71.50, you could have, came down, took profit down here, maybe gotten 5-10 points off of a scalp. But if you were still in it and when this was coming down here, you probably would have thought it would have kept going. So who knows if you would have tightened up or not. But as you can see, like I said, it hadn't clearly broke this bottom for me. I mean, it broke it, but it hasn't ran and it's come all the way back up to the top. And that's why for my LREs, that's also why I like to take LREs, which is the low risk entry trade, pullback of a simplicity trade, because it's clearly, when I take my trade, it's clear it's in a trend. It's clear trending. And then it pulls back and I take my trade. Here, we don't have a clear trend. Here it's like, yeah, it's starting a trend, whoop, came all the way back up, right? Same thing here. Okay, we might be starting a trend long, technically we might be getting a simplicity long here. But I would want it to run. See, now there's I mean, back, actually, yeah, like right now, that's a long right into the top. So I'd be cautious taking this long. We do have ZOI crash down here at the bottom on the 30 tick right here. On the 30 tick. So, maybe that'll help push this thing up. But like I said, I'd be cautious on this long right here, going right into the top. But with my LRE, I would wait till it comes up, breaks, and then pulls back. Because then I know I'm in a clear trend. So now it's breaking. I'm still not going to take an LRE yet, because an LRE would be down here, which would be back right towards the middle of this trend. I would want it to break pretty nicely first. Probably break this wall and flux level first before I take an LRE. Let me see. Let me look at my 10 tick. What's back here? Yeah, I want to take an LRE yet. I'd want it to break through those areas first to show me it's gonna go. It is breaking now. So we got this wall here. We're at the top of the 50 tick bar where we have 2 chop bars before. So let's see if it stalls here. Just doing something real quick. Okay. Let me bring over my 50 tick so you can see this. See, here's the 50 tick. Right now, it just hit the top right here. So this could come down and chop again. Don't know. I mean, it's not in a chop box yet, but being that it hasn't really broken out, it was kind of at the top. So I wouldn't take this LRE right now because it is, let me show you. It does have some HD, but it hit the top. I mean, it broke a little bit, but it didn't give me a clear break. Because it broke a little bit, but now it's coming down. My LRE is back in this little range that we have. I mean, will it win? Maybe. But I like the highest probability ones. And if you look on the 10 tick, it left a mini magnet up here at the wall, so it could be pushing away from the wall now to head back down. Since it left that mini magnet there. And it's trying to lay a mini magnet on the 30 tick at this same spot. So very well could be trying to push off of there and head on down. Let's see what happens. And yep, it's trying to push down. Let me show you something here. If you look at the simplicity chart here, this is a trend down. Okay, got an entry, chopped here, broke through this level, and now, I mean, it's trending down. So I would have taken an LRE in this trend. And actually, this one right here got the closest to being an entry. 74, 75, 1 point away. So this one you could have taken. So 74 went down, profited. Then if you took this one, 74 again, went down, profited. So there's 2 LREs already. So now it's trying to break short again. And see how you have this little range going on. It left the mini magnet on the 30 tick as well at the same spot right here is this 10 tick. Broke through the crash on the 30 tick with no problem. So now it's leading me to believe that this is going to head down towards the dev now. And you see how many times it's touched. 1 right here, 2 right there, 3, broke a little bit, went all the way back up to the top again of this little range. Now we're back here at this same level again. Now let's see if it heads down. Doesn't mean it will. But let's see if it does. I would like for this thing to go on ahead and break down around, get to around this area, 53-ish, pull back up, and give me an LRE at around 65 area. So run down to 53-ish, and LRE around 65-ish. It's testing that crash. Now again, will that happen that I just said? Don't know. Have no idea. But if it does, then that's where I would like to take my trade. And we'll just see if it actually happens or not. So now it's running down. Right now, I'd want it to come down further though. Closer to that 53-ish area that I was mentioning. Okay, come on. See if it comes down. We've got a exhaustion box with trapped orders forming and a star 4 low volume score, so let's see if it can push through this. And there's ODD on the 30 tick with an exhaustion box on the 30 tick, and it's trying to leave a paw on the 30 tick, as well as this 10 tick here. So it might not break past lower than this. Let's see if it can get the momentum. It is 9 o'clock, so we just got this little 9 o'clock rush. It didn't quite go down as far as I wanted, but if this thing comes up to around 68 right now, would be an LRE. And I wouldn't want to go against this ODD though. ODD, Xbox, ODD on the 30 tick. I don't want it to come down further. Break this bottom, this new little bottom here where this paw is. To break this, get closer to that mini magnet. When you get some more orders in there too, because I don't want another ODD to happen and then go against the ODD. might get an LRE here. The only reason why I like it is because it's testing this previous bottom. It didn't quite run as far as I like, but it's testing this previous bottom now. Which that's what I wanted, but I wanted it to run down further first. This 66 area, 65. It's testing it, but it's not. It's not at an LRE on the simplicity chart yet. And it's going a little sideways on the simplicity chart right now, so I want to see it go down further first. See, it's tightening up. But we do have potential. Let's see. Potential HD forming here. Kind of. It's just a little chop. Xbox there, but if it goes up, yeah. See, you could have taken this one, but I just wanted it to run down a little further first. Because we have this ODD, and it's got some chop here. See, and if you would have got in this one, you would have won 5 points. But it just got a little bit too sideways for me on this simplicity chart. And I have some major ODD that's formed on this bottom on the 30 tick also. It's 12%, it has a cluster. I like to stay away from clusters on the 30 tick. Xbox on the 30 tick. There's a lot telling me it might not go further short. So to me, for that reason, I want to wait until it proves to me that's going to go further short. Let me show you the 30 tick that I'm looking at. See here? Ran down ODD 13%, cluster, paw, exhaustion box on it. You know, we got the DR got shorter, you know, it's low. So it's just, I mean, it won. And that wouldn't have been a bad one to take, but I've just got quite a bit telling me that it might not go lower. And when I think too much on a trade, then I stay out. Because I'd rather really like the trade than say, it's kind of, it might go, seems like it'll be all right. I don't know. It's going a little sideways here. I have these, you know, things showing me it might stop here, and then I take the trade and it loses, then I say, well, see, I shouldn't have taken it. That's what happens. If it wins, you never think that way. If it wins, you say, oh yeah, that's, you know, it's a good trade. It was a good LRE. But if it loses, then, and I had all those thoughts, then I'm thinking, see, that was stupid. I shouldn't have taken it. Should have listened. Should have, when in doubt, stay out. You know, that's the saying. So, I had a few doubts. As you can see, it's not going lower. A lot of indicators told me it's not going to go any lower. So, that one would have, that if you took that trade, you would have had to get a good entry, and you barely made it. So, now we're heading back to the top of this little range area. Show you on my simplicity chart. See, if you would have had to get in right here at 65 and 60 was your profit. Barely would have made this one if you got a good, you know, a great entry. So, let's see. I got on a little later than usual today. I got on at about 8:35. So I didn't give myself the full. Had I got on at my regular time, I would have gotten those two LREs that I showed earlier when I scrolled back. So if I'd have gave myself my full hour I normally give myself, but it's okay. And got about 10 more minutes or so before my time is up, before we enter the dark zone, before the market opens, where we don't do any more trading until after the market opens, around 5 minutes after. So, let's see. Check what YM is doing. Yeah, YM's just not moving much at all. Oops. All right, see, here's another simplicity long. Going right back to the top of the range. And now we have a mini magnet on that wall on the 30 tick and 10 tick. Definitely not taking an LRE here in the middle. I mean, and if you do take an LRE in the middle of the range, at least take it in the same direction. For example, right now we went from the bottom to the top. So if you take an LRE, you'd want to take an LRE before it gets to the top, when it pulls back and head back to the top. You know, you don't want to take an LRE the opposite way. Not saying that it would work, but if you took a range-bound LRE, at least you want to take it heading the correct direction. And preferably I would like a bigger range than this. So right now we're like in a 20 point, 20, 30 point range, which is nothing for NQ. And it's slow morning. This is NQ. NQ is going slow. See, here would be an LRE, but like I said, I would not take it. I would not be taking any LREs right now until it breaks out. It gives me a clear breakout. We almost had a breakout short. It started going, but as you can see, it went all the way back up in its range, all the way back to the top almost. So, you know, this is where people get crushed in simplicity. They take this simplicity short, thinking this is the time it's going to go, and, you know, it could, but then it doesn't. And what they do is keep moving their stop backwards instead of just getting out and taking a couple losers. Just take a couple losers on these simplicities that didn't go, and then when you grab that one that does go, you know, you make up for it. But also stick to, you know, some good money management rules to that too, because if you just keep getting out of trades, getting out, you will rack up losers and a lot of commission. So you definitely want to be aware of that as well. All right. Got another cluster on the 30. See, we're just stuck in this little zone here. Okay, it's trying to go short. Yeah. Hopped onto NQ this morning thinking I'd be able to grab me a trade because it was moving a little better than YM, but looks like NQ stalled on me. So, might not get anything. We have about 10 minutes until the dark zone. So I got about 5 minutes before I hop off of here. You can see these two I zones are tightening up the price on the simplicity chart here. We've got this red I zone, this green I zone. When they get real tight like this, that means usually we're going to see a breakout soon. That means just accumulating. It's getting tighter and tighter and tighter. The chop is getting tighter, and it's going to burst. There's not much really to call out or read right now. Other than this nasty little chop we have going on. But this is the part of trading that most people do not talk about. And that's the part where you got to sit on your hands and do not trade. Don't try to force a trade. When this happens, there's going to be sometimes things that present itself as opportunities when it's really not. So you really do have to sit on your hands because, like I showed you, you might get these fake breakouts, and that's when some simplicity traders get crushed if they're not careful. I love simplicity, by the way. It's not saying that I don't like it. I love simplicity. The simplicity trade, great trade. Just, for me and my trading style, I like the LREs because I know I'm in a trend already. All right, well, that wraps up my time. I will see you all tomorrow.